quite the secretive superhero. Here's your look at the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Superman, Lois and Clark, black and silver suits Superman. After their universe was wiped out of reality and replaced with the new 52 worlds that make up the multiverse, Clark, Lois, and their son Jonathan have been transported to a new different Earth. After remaining undercover for many years, Clark dons a black and silver suit and operates as Superman in secret. Just before we take to looking at the black and silver suit Superman from the Superman, Lois, and Clark comic run, let's go ahead and first grab the ruler just to see how tall the figure stands. And don't worry, we'll do comparisons of this figure along with the DC Rebirth, who share a lot of the same similar molds. Black and silver suit Superman, that's a lot of S's, stands 7¼ inches in height, or he's about 18½ centimeters tall. And then, as promised, we're going to go ahead and move over the black and silver suit Superman, providing he can actually stand. There's another S as well. Let's bring in the DC Rebirth Superman. Can you already tell? They are, yes, using the same body molds. They have changed some of the things, like his belt primarily. The boots still stay the same. And that panel lining I wasn't so crazy about on the DC Rebirth Superman, done away with completely, instead of just completely painting his lower boots in silver. It does seem as well that they've slightly retooled the head, but most of the figure is reused from one to the other. Accessory-wise, you do get yourself a flight stand. I'm happy to see at least this Superman comes included with a flight stand. You get yourself a trading card, which we'll talk more about in a second, and he comes with a pair of swappable flight hands, if you don't want him with closed fists in his sockets. Let's talk a little bit first about the display stand. Now, instead of the traditional black display stand, that would have had the branding of the DC logo down below, you still get the branding of the DC logo here, but it's actually done on a clear stand instead. Now, you could really use the stand just as it is without the additional neck added to the top of it if you just wanted to have Superman on a regular display stand, because of course the peg on the top is going to be more than enough to keep the figure stable. And again, you're going to have, again, somewhat the consistency with all the figures on regular display stands, even though this one's going to be a little bit larger and a little bit clearer. Just to compare it with another display stand, I'm just going to reach off to the side. You can definitely see, like, there's a much bigger size with the flight stands. So they're not exactly the same size, but they have to be, of course, a little bit bigger, of course, to accommodate a display stand neck. This neck, there's a little opening slot here from the back that you're going to take then the top of the neck, or I guess the bottom of the neck, and you're going to slide it straight through until you hear yourself a satisfying snap. That's not going to be going anywhere. Then the top of it actually does open and close. This can fit easily around Superman's waist like this, and you can have him just sort of levitating. Or, what you can also do too, which I've done lately with a lot of my Superman, if you take the stand and you angle it down, you can actually then use it with having Superman more in a flight pose. Again, it clips around his waist the exact same way, providing, of course, he's not going to be looking down on the ground while you have him on a display. But at least if you wanted to have him in a flight pose, you can actually pull that off rather effectively as well. Taking the neck, we'll take the adjustable stand, just get the figure to stand here. Again, talking about stands. We're going to move this to the side, and then, of course, look at the trading card. Stop talking about stands already. Trading card wise, you do get yourself the Daily Planet behind Superman. And actually kind of looks like it says Fideli, because, of course, it kind of looks like there's an F next to the D. You have Superman in front of it, although it's still using figure photography. I feel in a case like this, it's almost too far away. It shows, yes, all the figure, but I feel like the source, the subject, of course, that being silver and black Superman, I feel like it's too far away on the card. A little small nitpick. Down below, you've got Superman, Lois, and Clark, the comic run, of course, that this suit is based on. It's not based on Death of the Superman. I know that's the first thing I certainly thought of when I looked at it. Kind of, again, it reminds me also a little bit like Future Superman from that Batman Beyond episode. Anyways, on the back, quite the lengthy read-up. There's a lot to digest here. Just between you and me and the other 5 people watching this, I actually started the read-up right around here. All the other stuff that's just above it, which you can more than happily pause and read for yourself if you want to. All of this is just regular read-up for any standard Superman. In fact, I've read all the same read-up before. All the new stuff that they've added starts pretty much right after their universe. So you'll excuse me if I skipped all of this and just started right after. Real name, by the way, is Kal-El Clark Kent. Nothing new there. But you get yourself a trading card. Again, we'll put that to the side. The other thing the figure comes included with as well, if you don't want closed punching fists, the figure comes included with some flight hands. The hands themselves, I don't think, are any bit different from the DC Rebirth Superman we already got before. These easily can just plug onto the hand. So, like, for example, just for the sake of argument, you can take the hands and just remove it from the peg like that and just easily replace it with the relaxed hands. It doesn't have to necessarily be for the purpose of having the figure in flight. If anything, if you just want to have the figure with a relaxed set of hands, you can certainly do that as well. I kind of like the idea of having Superman with at least one punching hand. You never know when he's going to have a couple of faces that need some serious punching. Shouldn't always be so violent like that. Anyways, though, those are the other accessories. Like I said, just a pair of relaxed flight hands. We're going to put those to the side. Keeping one in present place right now, and we'll keep the other one as a closed fist. Getting a closer look at Superman's head sculpt here. You know, I got to say I'm really happy with this one. Still, though, I mean, at some point, you would hope to think that McFarlane Toys is sort of going back to the older catalog of comics, and now they're releasing, like, the Hush stuff. I think at some point, you got to believe that they're going to be doing a Death of Superman run that I hope sort of like this is a teaser for a Death of Superman regenerative suit Superman, where he's got the black and silver suit like this. Because it clearly isn't, obviously, from that. But obviously, looking at it, the first thing I thought of was Death of Superman. And then right after that, I thought Superman from the future, from the Batman Beyond episode. Sort of what I'm getting also, too, the vibes I'm reading here when I'm looking at Superman's emblem. Just to bring in, by the way, the DC Rebirth Superman, so you can see how different that emblem actually is. Shape-wise, it's pretty much the same, which then allows them to really use the same mold, and then they've only really then just filled in some of the areas. So it's not quite the same solid-looking S. So I guess it's even more of a solid S. It gets at least the job done, giving you the idea of what that looks like as an S. As I've already said, like, the belt is different, so you're getting a brand new retooled belt here. The actual S logo there for the front belt buckle. It's a little on the messier side. You can see, like, the black is bled a little bit down to the bottom of the S, but at least it's nice. It's a little bit different of a belt buckle, of course. And then head sculpt wise, as we've already not yet talked about it, head sculpt isn't that much different, but it does seem like they have done some serious retooling. I really did like this head sculpt. If anything, I would have said like the darker coloring, kind of blush that they gave for Superman's cheeks clearly aren't here for this Superman. That if they almost gave us this version down the road, or like this body at least down the road as a classic looking Superman, if they could kind of line it up, I think, more to like the skin tone that we get for this Superman, because I gotta say, like, I think the skin tone works a little bit better. I still love this Superman, don't get me wrong, but like just a little bit of blush that he has on his cheeks that's nowhere now found here in the bearded version. It's still what I think is one of the best head sculpts we've gotten for Superman, just done a little bit better, if you don't mind overlooking the fact he does have, of course, beard on his face. This one also does remind me a lot more like Henry Cavill, too. I don't know why specifically. Maybe it's just the fact that he does have the beard, but I get very much more the vibes of Henry Cavill's Superman when I'm seeing it. Of course, we're going to move this figure out of the way. The sculpt-wise on his beard is actually really, really good. It seems as well that they've also made his eyebrows a little fuller than the earlier Superman we looked at. It still has the Superman curl. He really has a nice side profile. That always makes for a good sculpt on the figure when you can actually see it, and it looks good from all the different sides. And this Superman does definitely look good from all different sides. The beard is not simply just painted in. In fact, they've actually gone in there and painted, or sculpted, actually, the whiskers, the full hairs you can see growing out from his face. I don't really know how Superman shaves. We sort of have seen that before, where he uses his heat ray vision and actually just incinerates the hairs on his face. But does he actually use, I guess, could you use a kryptonite razor? That probably is a bad idea, because he would grow weak every single time he had to shave. He's probably just asking Lois if he could just grow out his beard. But yeah, skin tone is good. I like that. Eyes and rest of his face are good. And yeah, even though he is really sporting a full beard, that's relaxation Superman. I gotta say, like, the look really is nicely handled here. Body-wise, yeah, you're getting the same body as before. What I'm guessing that they've actually done here is they've molded the body here in black and then just colored the top of his neck in the flesh tone, which at least is close enough in color that it matches the coloring of his face. And then the little bit, just a little bit of silver that we actually get, the emblem, of course the belt buckle here, and if you go lower down here on his boots, the silver is really nicely handled here. Pretty clean too. And again, one of the things that I wasn't as crazy about when we looked at the DC Rebirth, didn't mean to startle you by bringing in that other figure again, the panel lining, so obviously done just above the molding. You don't have that worry at all anyways, because when it comes to this Superman, they simply just followed the guidelines. They know how to color within the lines, and this Superman has some really nice sporty looking silver boots. Really nice. Let's have a look at the articulation here on Superman, black and silver suit. The head does rotate all the way around. It does hinge up nicely as well. If you did want to put that guy on his flight stand, of course, the figure does come included with it. Head does look down nicely. And of course, you can also rock it back and forth also as well. So if he has a slightly more concerned look on his face that Lois is telling him to shave his face, I don't know if I would want to do away with the facial hair that I have on my face right now. That's probably the same similar look that Superman has right now. What? It took me forever to grow this, and I'm not shaving it using that kryptonite razor. Arms do come out, once again, as all the cases usually are the case with the DC Multiverse figures. Once again, they did put the socket in there as well to conceal the joint that's inside the shoulder. You can still see it, but it kind of does finish off the look of the figure's torso. Arms rotate all the way around. That's the case, again, on both sides, all the way around. Figure does have a bicep swivel. Figure does have a double hinge on the elbow, and then whatever hand you decide to display him with, whether you want to go with face-punching hands, or you want to go with the more relaxing, maybe asking Lois for some change so he can go to the grocery store and maybe pick up a carton of milk or something. He does also have this hand as well. Works the same way, rotating all the way around. Upper torso is on a very generous ball joint. Equally so, quite a lot of generous ball joint action happening here for the lower abdomen area here. Legs split out. Once again, you've got the softer rubbery skirting making up his trunk area. That hides nicely the joint system on the inside of his leg, which you can see right there. Legs go forward, legs go back. There's a little bit of a mild swivel there on the top of the thigh. Figure has a double hinge on the knee, although it's a little tight on my figure, but again, I would rather it be tight than a super loose joint. There's no articulation here on the top of the boot. This is just more a continuation of the mold they did for the lower calf. Of course, when it comes to the feet, they move back and forth this way. There's a nice ankle pivot. And with the Superman we looked at earlier as well, the figure does have toe articulation as well. Getting the figure once again to stand. Just flattening off his feet here a little bit. Yeah, at some point, even though I really like the look of this Superman quite a lot, a silver and black suit Superman has always been my thing. I really have been a big fan of this design of suit. Once again, we'll bring back in the DC Rebirth Superman. Even though, yeah, using the same mold, I mean, even right to the head, it seems like a lot of the same aspects for this mold did in fact get carried over to this one. Of course, this one does have the full beard action. Gotta say, though, I'm liking the silver and black suit Superman. I hope it, though, at some point, continuing on to the trend of the idea of Superman wearing a black and silver suit, after all, I hope at some point McFarlane Toys decide to release a Death of Superman regenerative suit, black and silver suit Superman. Of course, that would involve not only, well, that Superman I don't believe had the beard, but he certainly had the notable mullet. That would be something they would definitely have to include if they decide to release that figure at a later date. No mullet, no, but still a fine-looking black and silver suit Superman. Technically, if you consider the other one that we got released before, we have now two black and silver suit Superman, although the other one that we got was kind of sort of based on the Justice Lord's Superman. I don't think it effectively pulled that off, as you certainly saw in that review. It was literally just a repaint of the original animated series of Superman, just done in black and silver instead. Although this one is sort of doing the exact same thing. It's just as guilty for doing that. It's reusing the same body as what we got before with the DC Rebirth. It's doing it, at least handling it better. That you're not just getting simply just the same mold again, and they just repainted the aspects that were originally blue now as black, the aspects that were originally red and yellow now silver. They have at least sculpted a brand new emblem here on the front of his chest, and of course they did sculpt in a brand new belt. And of course we have to factor in as well that they also sculpted a brand new head sculpt, which I gotta believe that they did probably use the same head as before and just tooled it slightly to get the one that we get here. You at least feel like they did put in some invested interest. Speaking of which, though, you may also see down below. Can you actually see? Maybe you can't. Down to the bottom corner, just right next to the Clown Joker, is the mentioned already Justice Lord Superman. Not as effective, I have to say, as the silver and black suit Superman that we're getting here from Superman, Lois, and Clark. Please, please, please. At some point, I hope McFarlane Toys does go back to the older catalog of comics, and we do get ourselves a Reign of Superman run of comics, of comic figures, that first of all, we get the 4 Superman that step up and say, hey, we're all Superman, and really none of them ended up being Superman. I don't think I'm spoiling that for a comic that came out, in the 90s. But I hope at one point we do also get ourselves a silver and black or black and silver suit Superman as well. Of course, you'd have to give him the mullet. You'd have to give him the mullet. Something that apparently Henry Cavill was supposed to have in Justice League, and apparently Warner Brothers just said, no, you can't give Superman a mullet or a beard. Mullet, beard, Superman, Henry Cavill Superman would have been awesome. Warner Brothers said, no, we're kiboshing the mullet beard. Still, though, a nice looking figure. What do you guys think of the Superman Lois and Clark black and silver suit Superman? That's a fine looking Superman. Also, if you guys are new to this channel, you're enjoying the content that you're seeing, if you haven't already done so, plug, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. You can also as well turn on the bell notifications so you're always going to get those reminders whenever new videos are going to be popping up. And also, if you'd like to get more content or see more content from this channel along the lines of DC Multiverse, make sure as well at the very end of this video, popping up will be a playlist of all the other DC Multiverse stuff that I looked at. You can, of course, if you have a little bit of time on your hands, click on that playlist and it'll cover everything that I've looked at here on this channel for DC Multiverse. Definitely going to be a lot more videos coming your way, guys. As always, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.